Teeth, what's happening, buddy?
All's good, man. I think we maybe overreacted, BT, to the New York Yankees. I'm just saying, Yankees have been fantastic over the last couple of weeks, and you give Higashioka a day off, and Gerrit Cole all of a sudden wants to throw a scoreless an outing, 6 1/3, I think he went, outings over the weekend. He looked normal. He looked back to ace form, but I think the overreaction was real, BT, and as a fan, you have to overreact.
Meaning, wait, when you say the overreaction,
the negative reaction.
So it was earned, or we truly overreacted?
No,
based on the winter conversations. That's what I mean.
It's weird when you think about it, because when you're saying an overreaction,
you're implying that you were off base. I got
that's
you.
That's right. But given the negativity around the Yankees for this entire offseason and the lack of spending and the trotting out the same squad, you got worse from a hitting perspective, at least in theory, by bringing in IKF, who finally has started to hit the ball and on base percentage with Higashioka taking over for Gary Sanchez. There was so much status quo, and I know that I've always believed this as an athlete, simply because I was told this every year as an athlete. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And so, because everybody else is getting better. So if you are watching and opining and commenting and evaluating the New York Yankees, they kind of just stayed the same. So in theory, they got worse instead of getting better. However, now they are top of the division, have one of the best records in baseball.
Yep.
Maybe we overreacted.
Well, and by the way, we're going to get to the boorish behavior by a select few idiots out in the outfield over the weekend at Yankee Stadium. But, it is interesting because the Yankees have won 5 of 6. It might not feel like it, although yesterday and largely this weekend, it was crisp. I mean, Judge goes, yard twice on Friday, throws out a runner with a gun from center field. Now you start to see Gallo maybe join the party. God, did he need that? Gerrit Cole was great, as you said. IKF has been terrific ever since I said he should bat leadoff. So, yes, I'm taking credit. I unlocked him. But listen, It also could have gone the other way in Detroit if the pitcher-catcher, they don't drop the pop-up. Cole was awful in Detroit, got booed out there. But in totality, Yankees have won 5 out of 6. They're tied for first in the American League East. And what I don't want to do, and that's why there's so many positives here with the Yankees, and that's what we're choosing to illuminate. Now, understand this, because we're going to take the calls as we always do. And if you want to say this, you can, and we'll engage. But just because, and I'll speak for myself on this, just because I am very enthused based on what we've seen, smallish sample recently from the Yankees, by no means does that offset the very real critiques of their roster construction and the things that I took aim over the winter run. Have you checked what Matt Olson's doing for the Braves? Now, I know that Rizzo's playing well, too, but that's a move that I'll always stand by because he's, 5-6 years younger. Yeah, I thought they needed another arm. Yeah, I thought they should have been in on Story or Correa. But the Yankees right now, and this is the beauty of baseball, in 5 or 6 days, but really more specifically 3, they've at least muted the most dissenting voices and at least on some level emboldened those who believed going into the season that the Yankees were ready to roll. I was not among those. I thought there were very real flaws with the Yankees. I still do, but you got to celebrate good baseball. Yankees played great this weekend.
No, they did play great, but you wonder, in the long run, if there's enough of a positive drive to get this team where everybody expects them to be. And I look, I think the criticisms were real this offseason. You can't back away from what looked like a team doing a lot of nothing. And other than Gerrit Cole, who was a season ago, re-signing Rizzo and some of these other IKF deal, all those things, they in theory make the Yankee better, but at the end of the day, is it enough? That's the question.
We'll see.
And again,
we'll see.
You win series that you should. You beat up on the bad teams, and you steal some from the top the better teams. That's what makes you a championship quality team. Are the Yankees championship quality right now? That's the question. It feels like it, but are they really?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm not going to go, my pivot's not going to be that abrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, right now when I look at this team, first of all, I need to see more from Gerrit Cole. Like, if that's a little bit of a foreshadow of who he's going to be the rest of the summer, then I said to you around, obviously, a couple of days, I said, I'm not bailing on Gerrit Cole. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I think he's going to come back and recapture what he had with the Astros or early on with the Yankees, but to bail for me on Gerrit Cole is the height of, overreaction, in my opinion. But if we see this from Cole for another month, meaning he takes 8, 9 more starts and 6 or 7, or like what we saw yesterday, that changes things. It just changes the emotional meter, and it should. Now let's see where Severino's at. Listen, I know that Cortez looks like he should be playing softball instead of being maybe the best pitcher on the Yankees, but the more you see Nestor Cortez, the more you believe that this guy's legit.
I like
so,
that.
Yeah. No, I do too. So there's reasons to think that it's turning the corner. And I think you can have two very different opinions. You can have without being a hot take artist, you can have your opinion that you formulated based on what we've seen the last year or two with the Yankees and then how it flowed into the offseason. But then you can be fair to the Yankees and react to what you saw the past 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
You can kind of do both.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
And these are teams that they should be beating. Right? The Baltimore series gave us a little pause. Am I impressed that they swept the Cleveland Guardians? I almost said Indians, but Cleveland Guardians? Not really.
No. It's a start.
How they did it, yeah. They took 2 out of 3 from Detroit. That's kind of what I expected. Cleveland, you should sweep them. Baltimore coming up. If they don't correct what happened the first series that they played them a week and a half ago, then I'll have some concerns. But should they sweep Baltimore? Yes, they should. And then you get to Kansas City. Should they beat Kansas City 2 out of 3? Absolutely. Toronto was when you thought that they needed to be good again. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they need momentum to get good again. But if they get to that Toronto series, who they are currently tied with, I think they're tied with atop the AL East, then that's the series that I'm looking at to say, all right, the Yankees took care of business the way they're supposed to take care of business against Toronto. Then I feel good about them.
All
fully.
right. All right. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on the Fan inside the Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. NFL draft this week is going to be awesome. We'll see what Trader Joe does for the Jets, if he can reel in Debo or one of these other receivers before Thursday. We'll be out there. We're doing a show. We'll give you details on that. It's going to be a blast. The Nets are an absolute mess. In my opinion, Ben Simmons is everything. You want a perfect encapsulation of what's wrong with the NBA? Look at Ben Simmons. But Ben, here's a hint, dude. Lose the sunglasses. Let's start with that. I mean, if you're scared to play, which I don't know, or you can't play, whatever it is, at least lose the shades indoors. You look awful. You really, come on, man. 877-337-6666. So, Yanks are rocking a little bit. Mets handle business as well, taking 2 out of 3 in Arizona. And, listen, the summer's starting to set up nicely here. There was so much negativity with the Yankees, and I get it. Because of what preceded this year. But now you're starting to see, oh, wow. This IKF kid, we couldn't really say his name for the first month. Now we just go for the letters here, but this kid could play a little bit. Oh, wow, Cortez, maybe he is for real. Oh, this Yankees pen is sick. Oh, Rizzo looks comfortable playing first base now rather than cut over midseason. And Judge getting loose. Stanton hasn't done a damn thing, which is another reason why you think once he starts mashing, which he will, the Yankees offense takes another step forward. I told you that LeMahieu was hurt a year ago. He looks like the old DJ hitting 330, whatever it is. So all in all, what are we reacting to with what we saw from the Yankees this weekend?
Yeah.
On the field.
Yeah. Well, I think
off the field in the stands, different story.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll get to that a little later.
I have strong opinions about fandom.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. I love fans. I love them, but when they start becoming the story as opposed to the accent to the story, then you something's crossed the line there.
We're definitely going to get into that, obviously. All right, let's get to you. You guys want to jump in? Mike's in Suffern on the Fan, Tiki and Tierney. Mike, what's happening, buddy?
Hey, Brandon. How's Tiki? How you guys doing?
We're
Happy
good.
Monday.
What's up, Mikey?
All's good, all's good. Yeah, so to be honest, I hear you guys talking Yankees, and I couldn't agree anymore. Listen, the bottom line is I couldn't care less they swept this Cleveland team. This team is flawed top to bottom. The bottom line is you look at the pitching staff, you look at the lineup, you look at their A lineup, you got a 36-year-old Josh Donaldson batting leadoff. I mean, you just look long-term over a 162-game season going to the playoffs. I mean, there is no way this team competes for a championship. Toronto's years better than them. I'd argue Tampa and Boston may even be better.
I don't think, Mike, I don't think Boston's better. And I've said that all year. I don't think Boston's better.
Boston's
I
suffering
don't.
right now.
You don't think their lineup's better?
Maybe.
In totality, I think the Yankees are a slightly better team than the Red Sox. I do.
Right. I hear you. And I actually wanted to ask you guys a quick Jets question. But hear me out on this real quick. I've been seeing some chatter that, a lot of teams have been inquiring with the Jets to move up to 10. And, obviously there's a lot of chatter that with the Debo news that, 10 might end up being packaged in that. What do you guys think about, potentially the Jets, moving back to, let's say, between 15 and 18, recouping, another 2 picks, maybe another 2, another 3, and then, packaging that 15 through 17 and then another 2, using that for Debo, and then in the process having, kind of another pick, that third round pick, another second round pick.
Good, Tiki.
You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think about that?
There's a lot of maneuvering because there's so many teams in the NFL draft this year that have 2 first-round picks. Obviously, the Giants and the Jets are one. The Saints have a couple as well.
Kansas City,
Houston does. So, I mean, there's going to be a ton of movement because teams don't necessarily need to at where they're picking, later in the draft. They would like to get up higher to get these guaranteed or at least higher probability draft picks to be superstars. And so could someone trade with the Jets to get up to 10? Absolutely. And I think a lot of that's going to depend on the runs that happen or don't happen. For instance, if there's a run on the D ends early, then people are going to start saying we got to get high to get our favorite DN, and so the Jets and the Giants, who are in the top 10, are going to benefit from that. Debo, we got to see with Debo. I mean, I'm not fully sold on what he brings and what his value. It's more what his value is. I know what he brings. It's more about what his value is because he's only done it for one season, and there's something happening in football that I'm not happy with. Not happy is the wrong word because who cares if I'm happy or not about it. But it's
I care if you're happy, Teak.
Well, there's something I
want you to be happy.
There's an empowerment that's happening for non-quarterbacks that is a little bit troubling. And if you're going to allow Debo Samuel to force his way out after having one great season and basically hold the 49ers hostage to get where he wants to get, and if they don't pay him. That's just a bad look.
But here's the thing. We're going to get to football more thoroughly later. But I hear you. I don't disagree with your premise. It's a turnoff for fans as well, unless your team benefits from the acquisition. Let's be honest. But the Niners don't need to acquiesce to his demands.
Not at all.
They got him for this year, 3.9. Then they've got him the next year if they want to tag him. And then they've got him the year after if they want to tag him. I'm with you. But the Niners can be an example to the rest of the NFL. Whoa. You can ask for whatever you want.
Yeah.
But we have the cards here.
That's right.
And we ain't trading you. But hope they do. 877-337-6666. Teddy's up in Yonkers on the fan talking about the Yanks. Teddy's on with Tiki and Tierney. What's up, Ted?
Good morning, guys. Love listening to you.
Appreciate it,
man.
I stand by what I said weeks ago before the baseball season started. The Yankees are not consistent enough. It's just a repeat of the past few years, okay? Donaldson is 36 years old on a 162-game schedule. I'm sorry. He's not going to be consistent enough. DJ LeMahieu is a big question mark.
Why?
Excuse me?
Why?
Why what?
Why is he a question mark? He rolls out of bed. He's been a 300 hitter his whole life.
He had a bad season last year. Not a bad.
That's the outlier.
He had a down season last year.
Yeah, that's the anomaly. Why is he a question mark?
Hickey, you know.
No, Teddy, answer. I'm curious.
As you age and you get into your high 30s, your body changes.
All right. Yeah. I mean, he's not Ricky Henderson trying to steal 90 bases, dude.
Well, let me ask you, what are your expectations for Donaldson?
For Donaldson or DJ? We're jumping around here.
Okay,
You said...
I think he may have misspoke. He may have meant Josh Donaldson.
Okay, that's different. I think that Donaldson... Now, first of all, did you mean to say LeMahieu at all or no?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Fair concern about the age. Absolute part of his medical history. It is what it is. But Donaldson, to me, is exactly what this team needed in terms of edge. And we said this when they got him. He's a little jagged. He's around the edges. Like, he's not corporate.
Yeah.
Like, the Yankees were so corporate, and I can't stand that. I like that. Josh Donaldson is a really good baseball player, but he's old.
Yeah, and he's having a rough start to this last couple of weeks.
I agree with those points. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I just hope that the Yankees can have some real... I love the pitching. And like you said, Brandon, you said something very important. important about Cole. Out of the next 9 starts, if he can have 6 of them, he doesn't have to go 7 innings.
No.
Even if he goes 6 innings or 5 innings of, maybe 1-run ball, that's good enough because we have a good bullpen. But you don't remember this also. With the bullpen, you can't use 3 or 4 relievers over a 162-game schedule. You're going to burn them out.
Which is why I would slightly disagree. Thanks for the call there, buddy. That Gerrit Cole, you'll take the 5 innings. No, I think that the trend in baseball now, and certainly with the Yankees, where their bullpen is an absolute strength, you need to save those guys for the Tyones, for the guys who aren't really expected to go 7. I mean, Gerrit Cole needs to give you some innings where he's going 7.
Yeah, I mentioned this, BT. This is back to Gerrit Cole, or continue with Gerrit Cole. Higashioka sat for the last this Gerrit Cole outing, and Trevino caught, and he pitched great. Should we look into that at all? At all, because we remember this last year, right? We remember it last year with Sanchez.
That's right.
Couldn't stand him.
Yep.
Or
I hated pitching to him.
Maybe I'm putting words into his mouth, but it just felt like it was intimated that he didn't like pitching to Gary Sanchez. And Higashioka basically became his personal catcher.
Yes, he did.
Is there anything to that with Gerrit Cole?
Might be.
And why does that make such a big difference?
Because he is wired in a very unique way, and I think that wiring makes him great. But I also think that wiring gets in his own way. He's a complex guy in terms of, I think everybody's brain is the most powerful part of the body. You know that. And it can elevate you to heights that you never thought when you're in that zone. And it can really take you to a place where you don't want to be in terms of plummeting. And I think that Gerrit Cole's brain is oftentimes the engine to his greatness, but every once in a while, it leads to his faltering. And I think that he processes it. Some guys just say, give me the ball, hit the buttons now, or put down the fingers and let's go.
Yeah.
Give me the sign and let's roll. I think Gerrit Cole's different than that.
Yeah.
He gets in his own way. And if he feels better with Trujillo, who I like him.
I do too.
Could run a little bit.
You know why I like him even more, BT? Because he went to Oral Roberts University with my dad.
Did your dad teach him?
No, maybe he did.
That's funny.
That's a good question.
I didn't even know he went there. Oral Roberts he went to.
Oral Roberts University. He was a 6th-round pick back in 2014. But my dad's a professor of theology out there, so maybe.
We got to get to the bottom. We'll get the answer on that. Yeah, I mean, listen, if he feels good about this, then whatever we saw yesterday,
that's
bottle
what we want. That's what we need.
Bottle it. I don't care who's behind the dish. You can bring back Matt Noakes if you want. He's probably 60 at this point. If it works, we need it. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. A ton of draft stuff. We'll get to the Kadarius Toney stuff. Obviously, Jets still chasing Deebo Samuel. The Nets have all sorts of issues on and off the court. We'll get to it all coming up here on the Fan.